All right, let's just jump right in. Starting out with Amazon Web Services, or AWS, can feel, well, a little overwhelming, right? It's like being handed a map of a whole new world with zero street signs. But that's exactly why we're here. We're going to turn that massive, confusing map into a simple, step-by-step guide for your first 90 days.
So yeah, it's totally normal to feel a little lost in the cloud at first. But don't you worry. Think of me as your guide. I've got the map, and my whole goal here is to get you building real things fast. So, let's get started.
Okay, first things first. Before we can build skyscrapers, we need to pour a rock-solid foundation. And in AWS, that foundation is built on 3 main pillars. You've got to nail these down. They're pretty much non-negotiable for everything else we're going to do. We always start with security. And in AWS, that means starting with IAM, which stands for Identity and Access Management. The easiest way to think about it, it's your account's bouncer. It's all about deciding who can do what. You create users for people, you set up roles for services, and you attach policies that lay down the law. Getting this right is absolutely key. So, if IAM is the bouncer deciding who gets in the door, your VPC, or Virtual Private Cloud, is the building itself. It's your very own private, walled-off section of the huge AWS world. This is where you're going to put all your stuff, your servers, your databases, giving you total control over your own little corner of the internet.
Now, your VPC isn't just one giant empty room. You divide it up into subnets. You can think of these like different floors in your virtual office building. A public subnet, that's the lobby. It has a big front door straight to the internet, perfect for a web server. A private subnet, though, that's like the secure offices upstairs with no direct outside access. That's where you keep the important stuff, like your databases.
And that brings us to our third pillar, EC2, the Elastic Compute Cloud. If the VPC is the building and subnets are the floors, then EC2 instances are the actual employees doing the work. These are your virtual servers, the brains of the whole operation. They provide the raw horsepower to run your applications.
Okay, enough theory. It's all just talk until you get your hands dirty, right? The absolute best way to make all this stuff click is to build something. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tackle a simple first project that'll give you a huge confidence boost.
We're going to launch a simple website using S3. First, you create what's called a bucket. You can just think of it as a special folder in the cloud. Step 2, you upload your website files, your HTML, your images, all that good stuff. Third, you tweak the permissions so people can actually see it. And last, you literally just flip a switch in the settings to turn on website hosting. And boom, just like that, you've deployed a real website.
Awesome. See? You built something. You've got the core pillars down. But, EC2 and S3 are really just the beginning. As you start building bigger and better things, you're going to run into new problems, and you're going to need more specialized tools to solve them.
You'll quickly find you need more than just a server. You'll need managed databases, a way to handle your domain name, and a strategy to make sure your site is fast for users on the other side of the planet. And that's where things like RDS for databases, Route 53 for DNS, and CloudFront for content delivery come into the picture.
And this is a perfect example of a huge concept in the cloud, using the right tool for the job. Say you're building an e-commerce store with really structured customer data. A traditional database like RDS is perfect. But what if you're building a game with a high-score leaderboard that needs crazy speed? Well, then a NoSQL database like DynamoDB is your best bet. Knowing the difference is a massive skill.
And as you keep going, you'll hear about these more modern ways to build. Things like serverless, using a service called Lambda, where you can run code without even thinking about a server. Or containers, which let you package your app so it runs the same way everywhere. And of course, services like CloudFront and Route 53 that make your app fast and globally available.
Learning all this tech is great, but let's be honest, for a lot of us, the end goal is to turn these skills into a career. So how do you make that jump from just knowing things to getting hired? The answer, my friend, is your portfolio.
I cannot stress this enough. A certification proves you can pass a test. A portfolio of projects proves you can actually do the work. Every single time you learn a new service, ask yourself, what's a small project I can build with this? Remember that static website? That's portfolio project number 1.
And when you're writing your resume, don't just say, I built a thing. You have to translate that into business value. Instead of built a website, say, deployed a static site with 99.9% uptime using S3. See the difference? It shows a hiring manager that you don't just get the tech, you get why it matters.
Now, right alongside that portfolio, getting a certification is a really powerful way to formalize your knowledge. It's like an official stamp of approval that helps get your resume past the first filter and into the right hands.
If you decide to take an entry-level AWS exam, I can promise you will see questions about this. It's called the Shared Responsibility Model, and it's actually super simple. AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud, the physical data centers, the hardware. You are responsible for security in the cloud, your data, your configurations, your software.
So, pop quiz. Let's test that out. Here's a classic exam-style question. Who is responsible for patching the operating system on an EC2 instance that you launched? Is it AWS? Is it you, the customer? Or is it both? Think about it for a second.
The answer is B, the customer, you. Remember the rule? The operating system is software that you are running in the cloud on AWS's hardware. So keeping it updated and secure, that's on you. Nailing this concept is a must for the exam.
Okay, one last critical piece of advice. For both the real world and the exams, you've got to manage your costs. It's really easy to leave something running and get a surprise bill. So use tools like AWS Budgets to get alerts, tag everything so you know where the money is going, and please, please, please shut down servers when you're not using them.
So there you have it, your roadmap from day one to your first deployment and beyond. You've got the foundational pillars, you've built your first project, and you know how to show off your skills. The only thing left to ask is, what are you going to build next?